Hi YouTube, I'm going to be reviewing 12 books that I've read this year. So if you're looking for some book recommendations, then stay tuned. I like to read nonfiction and self-help books, but I also have a couple of poetry and fiction books in this list. I made it a goal for myself in the beginning of 2021 to start reading. I ended up reading 12 books, which was one book a month. And it may not be a lot of books to you, but it was a lot of books to me because I barely ever read, even though I actually really like to. I just feel like we have so many distractions that it's hard to take the time to sit down and read. I made it a goal for next year, for 2022, to read 24 books and double up how many books I read this year. I already have all 24 books listed, so I know exactly what books I'm going to be reading and I'm really excited for them. Before I get started with these 12 books, I came across a thread on Instagram where someone posted something asking about people's favorite books and books that changed their lives. And there was tons of comments and I was interested and looked, and I noticed a lot of the people were naming the same books. So some of those books are in this list. But let me get started with the book review. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is The Power of Discipline by Daniel Walter. It says how to use self-control and mental toughness to achieve your goals. This book was published in 2020 and has 142 pages. I highlighted a lot in this book because there was so much good information in it. It was the first book I read and it has a lot of studies and research, and it's not a hard read. If you want to work on your self-discipline and really get motivated, this is a good book to help you with your discipline and starting out the year with. I'm gonna just read a random passage from this book. It says, thinking of yourself as a person who is making a transition from the person you are now to the person you aspire to become will encourage you to keep pushing as you work hard to achieve your goal. With every milestone you achieve, your new identity will become more realistic as each day passes. So yes, I would recommend this book. It has research and studies to back up what it talks about. The second book that I want to review is The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. This was my favorite book out of all the books that I've read. It's a short book, so compared to The Power of Discipline, it's short. It's a really easy read. I probably read it in a couple days. I think this book was published in 99. Yeah, 1999 this book was published and it's 200 pages. This is a good book for a gift. It's a wisdom book, so it says a practical guide to the art of relationship, a Toltec wisdom book. It has a lot of wisdom in it, a lot of insight. And at the end of the book, it has like a couple prayers that are really inspiring. Again, a random passage from the book. It says your mind and your body have completely different needs, but your mind has control of your body. That's all I'm gonna read. I don't want to get too much into it, but I would recommend this book. It makes a good gift. And it was my favorite book out of all the books I'm going to mention here today. This one was my favorite. I actually got all his books that he wrote because that's how much I liked his book. The third book that I want to review is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he's a spiritual teacher. This is a book that changed lots of people's lives. I saw this book constantly, so I had to get it. I don't think it's a light read. It's about 230 pages. I think this was also published in 99. Yeah, 99. This is a very deep book. It really goes into depth of the power of now and how to really understand being present. Literally the whole book goes into detail of that. It's really deep. If you recently went through a spiritual enlightenment or awakening and want to know more, I would recommend this book. I'm just gonna read a random page. Power over others is weakness disguised as strength. True power is within and it is available to you now. This is the third book. The fourth book is The Alchemist. This is a fiction book. I've heard of this book for many, many years. I just never read it. It is by Paulo Coelho. Don't know if I'm saying that correct. But the back of it says, to realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. It is 180 pages. This was published first in 1988 in Brazil. This is about a shepherd that lives in Spain that goes to Egypt to look for the pyramids to find a treasure. And it's a spiritual book. It talks about the Quran a little bit, and it talks about omens and the earth, spirituality, and has a lot of insight in it. So this was a book that changed a lot of people's lives as well. I read it in like 3 days because I got so into it that I just kept reading. The next book, this is the 5th book I'm going to talk about, is The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. It says, own your morning, elevate your life. And the author of The Alchemist commented here on the bottom. It says, Robin Sharma's books are helping people all over the world lead great lives. And this is not a light read. This is over 300 pages. And the text is really tiny. But I absolutely loved this book. It has so much inspiring wording in it, and he has diagrams. Let me show you. So he has like some diagrams in it. It's a fiction book. It's about a billionaire that mentors an artist and entrepreneur, and they go on this journey together, and he teaches them all of his techniques and his strategies. It's not just about your morning routine, even though it has a lot to do with your morning routine. It's about your whole day. The way he talks has so much wisdom in it. Really engages you. It's so beautifully written. I love it. This is my 2nd favorite book from the list. I'll just read you a random sentence from here. It says, as you capitalize on your brightest gifts and highest powers, you'll become not only a bigger person, but an even more indispensable one. So if you're interested in changing your life, this is a good book to read. Actually, before I go on to the next book, this has a 5 a.m. club challenge. So in the back of the book, he has where you can go to his website and sign up for a free membership if you have the book. You put in your email, and it's a 66-day challenge, which is one of his techniques. Basically sends you inspirational videos and emails, you know, every couple days or weeks to get you into the habit of waking up early. And then he also has a paid membership where you pay, I think, $50 for a year. I'm not 100% certain on that. So the 6th book is by Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass. It says how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. This is not also the lightest read. This is a good substance of a book. When was it published? I want to see. It was published in 2013, and it has about 250 pages, 240, give or take. The way she talks, it's woman to woman. She talks very bluntly. She cusses. She's talking directly to you. This is for women that need their self-esteem boosted, advance their careers, advance their life, that just want to be that badass girl. Get this book. It will help you. It will inspire you. Just a random, I'm just going to read this little thing she has here on this page. It says, you have to keep the faith always, even when your ass is on the line. This is also a good self-help book for women. The next few books I'm going to show you at the same time because they're a series. It's Reflections of a Man by Mr. Amari. I have the 1st book, 2nd book, and Reflexiones de un Hombre is in Spanish. I got it in Spanish because I get books in Spanish randomly when I really like the books, so I can help improve my vocabulary and speech and reading in the language. So if you're bilingual or want to learn another language, I would suggest reading books in that language at your level. So I did read the whole thing in Spanish as well as these two. So the 1st book is bigger than the 2nd book. I think the 1st book is about 300 pages and the 2nd book is about 200 pages. And it is for men and women. These books I would recommend if you're going through a breakup. These will help you tremendously. If you're going through any relationship problems, if you're broken, hurting, or need insight on how men think, even if you're a man, this will help you in your relationship treat women better. He actually has it divided, each book, they're both the same, divided into 3 sections, one for the woman, one for the man, and one for the relationship. But I actually read it all the way through. He even has places where you can write notes in. I'll show you an example. Like right here, he has a place where you can put notes, and he has like reflections, some things you can do. And this is actually how the book is. So it's like little sections. They usually begin on every page. So it's pretty easy read. You can read it, you know, daily. You can read it all at once. But this is a book for relationship issues. If you have a broken heart, pick up this book and read it, because it will definitely help you. This was published in 2015, and this one was in 2019. I know that. So it says, holding on to the past. As long as you hold on to your anger for the wrong man of the past, he will forever have control over your ability to be happy in the future. And that is just one little part of it I read. So this next book is a poetry book called Two Fish. It is by Jhene Aiko. If you do not know who Jhene Aiko is, she is a famous R&B singer. She's been my favorite female artist for a very long time. She has such a way with words. Her music is really so soulful. It really speaks to your soul. So her book came out in 2018, and I love that it's small. It can fit in your purse. It could fit in your car. And she actually has like stuff copied from her journal of her, you know, brainstorming and scratching stuff out, and just her process of how she kind of does her own journaling. And each poem starts as 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish, and all the way, I think, till 79 or 80. No, 70. So it's 140 pages, 70 fish. And some poems are really long, some poems are really short. I'm gonna read the very first poem. It's really short. It says, in the past she was angry, in the future she was scared, but alive in the moment is where she's aware. So, yes. If you're interested in poetry, this is one to get. The next book is also a poetry book. It is called Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I don't know if I'm saying that right at all, but I fell in love with this book. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't feeling the book. I was reading it and I just wasn't connecting with it. I was looking at it like, what kind of book is this? Just to be honest. But so when I read it, probably like this much of the book, like probably up to page like 30, and I just put it away and put it aside and didn't read it for months. And then at the end of the year, I picked it back up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finish this book. And I just started reading it. I think I read it in a day, and I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God. I'm just like, how did I not read this book? I'm just gonna read the back of it. It says, this is the journey of surviving through poetry. This is the blood, sweat, tears of 21 years. This is my heart in your hands. This is the hurting, the loving, the breaking, the healing. It's like, you know, when you watch a movie and the beginning is like kind of iffy. You don't know if you're gonna like the movie, and then you watch it and you really like it. That's the kind of book this is to me. My list for next year, I have her other poetry book. It's called The Sun and Her Flowers. It's on my list. So this, I definitely recommend this if you like poetry even a little bit. As a woman, it's a really, really great book. It was really deep. That's what poetry is, deep. And the 12th book that I have is not actually with me, but I'm gonna show you guys a picture of it. Since you watch this much in my video, I have 2 bonus books that I'm going to mention. I didn't read them this year, that's why they're not on my list, but I read them in the past, a couple years ago, when I was going through depression and anxiety, and they really helped me. So I wanted to just recommend those books just for the heck of it. My 12th book that I don't have with me right now, my brother is borrowing all 3 of these books, so I'm gonna post a picture of them right here. The first book is called Empty Out the Negative, which it is a Christian book. So it's by a famous preacher named Joel Osteen. Hopefully I said his name right, but if you ever heard him preach, I would suggest you watch him preach first and then get his book if you haven't already. It's a really, really light read. So if you have negativity in your life, that book should change your life. It's the easiest book out of all these books to read. The second book is The Wisdom of Anxiety by Cheryl Paul. This book is beautifully written. She's a great writer. She's actually a therapist. So reading this book is like, if you never went to therapy and you're thinking about it, maybe get this book. It will help you. If you have anxiety, please get this book. It will change your life. It's so well written and beautiful. So we know anxiety is bad. She talks about the wisdom of anxiety and how it can transform and teach you. So if you're interested in something like that, I'd recommend that book. And then The Art of Wayfinding by Meadow DeVore. It's about mindfulness and finding your way through life. And at the end of each chapter, it has a yoga move, so you can reflect on the chapter that you just read. So those are the two bonus books that I wanted to talk about. And since you stayed this long into the video, I want to thank you so much for watching my very first YouTube video. Yes, this is my very first YouTube video, and I'm not used to being on camera at all. So I knew I had to start somewhere, and I wanted to get this video out here because it's the end of the year and everyone's making goals, and I wanted to, get myself started, and hopefully I can stay consistent and become better and make better quality videos. I already have another video that I want to come out, which is the importance of reading. I have a huge list about that and getting into the habit of reading. And I have more reviews I'm going to be doing on other things that I want to make videos on and content. So I would really appreciate it if you comment, like, subscribe. I would appreciate any feedback. I will not take it personally, but I do want to thank you for watching my video so much, and have a great day. And hopefully this helped you in your search for starting to read, because reading is so important. Have an amazing day. Thank you.